Greetings and welcome. This is Pastor Abe Casiano from Skyview Chapel Church of God coming to you today on this beautiful Sunday morning, March the 27th. Truly, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And I pray and hope that you will rejoice with me as well as we look on the message that God has for us today, found in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verses 6 through 9, and I'm going to be reading them to you. And it simply says this: as he begins to listen, God says to him, and let me just start with verse 5. No one will be able to stand against you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Be strong and courageous, because you will lead this people to inherit the land I swore to them and to their ancestors to give them. Now, one of the things that I have learned in life and at an early age is that I could be whoever I wanted to be, and I could accomplish whatever I wanted to accomplish. All because of something that my mother taught me and repeatedly told me. And those words were simply, don't walk away, you can do it. Don't walk away, you can do it. You see, some of us are discouraged in life because you have refused to do what God has called you to do, not because He hasn't told you. Remember, nothing in life or in ministry ever happens apart from courage. Somebody must take action. And God speaks to Joshua, who is now taking over the leadership from Moses, because Moses at this time is dead. And so Joshua is the successor, and he is ready to take on that which God has called him to do. Now, when you read chapter 1 of Joshua, you must read it in its emotional context. Moses is dead because he disobeyed God. He allowed the pressures of those following him to get to him, and he acted in unbelief. Now, Moses commissioned Joshua to carry on, as you can read in the book of Numbers, chapter 27, verses 12 to 23. But at this point, what I want to share with you is that God comes to Joshua personally to give him an exposition on courage. It's not for the faint-hearted. It is as if God reaches out and grabs Joshua by his lapels, just as an illustration, and he doesn't cuddle us, but God gives us a fourfold description of courage. In verses 1 through 4, it makes us clear that point number 1 that I want to share with you is that courage rests on a clear assignment from God. There's no such thing as a courage apart from mission, just as there's no such thing as faith as apart from challenge. You're not courageous to be courageous, but you're courageous for something. And God reiterated to Joshua what he had told Moses to do. God isn't needy of worthy men. He makes men worthy. In the book of Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10, he tells us, for we are his workmanship, created in Christ unto good works, which God has been before ordained that we should walk in them. This implies that we should step out in bold obedience. The good works that he has prepared beforehand, we should walk in them. So let me ask you, what are some things that God has prepared for you to do? When did you last reason God's calling on your life or reassess God's calling on your life? You see, your courage will rise when you have confidence in the call. Most people fail because of confusion and lack of courage. Number 2, courage rests on the assurance of God's presence, verses 5 and 9. God never calls us to do anything apart from him. Every assignment that God gives is also his primary means of sanctifying the person. The very thing that God is using to draw us to himself is calling upon us. He is calling. His calling, God's calling, is a statement of his presence. I will be with you. Number 3 is courage rests upon the focused determination. 3 times he repeats, be strong and courageous. Be very careful of making decisions based on your own capability. God's not interested in our capability. God is more interested in our availability. Being successful in your Christian calling is strengthened by acts of obedience. You see, God could be calling you, God could be calling me, and we can be nodding our head and we can be saying, "Yes, Lord." But unless we get up and we take action, we really don't accomplish much. The ability to endure deepens your resolve. If you act courageously, you'll get more courage. God is with you, but He'll only strengthen you when you first take the first step in doing what He has called you to do. Remember, Henry Ford said airplanes take off against the wind, not with it. Jimmy Dean said the wind only blows when you put up the sail. Napoleon Hill says, "Don't wait, the time will never be right." And Theodore Roosevelt said, "Do what you can with what you can and with what you have and where you are." And Jesus, my friend, said, "Follow me and I will make you fishers of men." Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." And then Jesus said, "Nothing is impossible for me." You see, my friend, my brother, my sister, Jesus has a call in your life. And that call is yours and no one else. No one else can do what God has called you to do. For He made you in His image. You know who you are, but more importantly, God knows who you are, and He knows what you are able to do and what He's able to do through you. So this morning, as you listen to this short, brief message about receiving the call to courage, stand strong, be courageous, and remember that God is always with us and always will be with you, even until the end of time. May the Lord bless you and watch and keep you. And remember, God is faithful to do that which He has promised us to do. God bless you. Until then, this is Pastor Abe Casiano from Skyview Chapel, Church of God.